Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. IGN had another video yesterday that finally introduced us to the Black Flame new Udra. This gameplay was, of course, incredibly exciting, but we also had an interview about the creation of this brand new cephalopod monster, which is the first of its kind, and we got to see some things within the gameplay that we hadn't seen before. So I hope this video will be the one-stop shop for all of the information compiled into one from yesterday's IGN coverage. Now we're going to start with details you may have missed from all of the gameplay shown yesterday, because these are things that are maybe a little bit harder to pick out than just watching the interview or reading the article. So first up, we get to see one of the NPC hunters, Rosso, using the Gypceros heavy bowgun, which was something we could assume was in the base game because we know that Gypceros is in the game, but it was very, very nice to see him using a different piece of equipment that we have not seen in a game of Monster Hunter for a very long time. We also got to take a look at a new lance, which, after much investigation yesterday on stream for probably like 40 minutes, I feel confident in saying that this is the Doshaguma lance. At first, the lance looks totally different to the longsword, so I was like, there's no freaking way that this is the same thing, but that's because the lance appears to be using the Alpha Doshaguma color palette, which is this kind of deep red rather than the orange of its pack mates. It's also got similar fur around the handle, it's got the metal and the spiky teeth looking parts, which are also similar, and then the longsword and the lance also share this very specific circle design that you can see here on both of them. So after I saw that circle design, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is the Doshaguma lance. It all makes sense. So if I'm incredibly wrong, please let me know, but I think I may be right. Some of the other things we can see in the gameplay is a look at more mantles. We had only seen the ghillie mantle before, but we did get confirmation that Rocksteady mantle is here, so you can withstand all of those attacks, tremors, wind, and roars like you did in Monster Hunter World. We also got to have a look at what I believe is a brand new mantle used by the NPC hunter Rosso. He's just got all the good new stuff, I'm telling you. It has a very specific leaf vein type of design on it, and it appears to give him periodic bursts of healing. If you watch the health bar of Rosso during this section where we know he is wearing the mantle, you can see the healing effect happening. I'm gonna guess that this mantle is called an herb mantle or something based on it providing healing and looking like a leaf. Again, if I am wrong about any of that, please let me know, but I did spend a very long time, about 5 hours, going through this gameplay yesterday on stream, so hopefully it's correct. Now let's talk about the boy, New Udra himself. The dev team have always wanted to add a tentacle creature to the Monster Hunter roster from back in Monster Hunter Tri, where they added underwater combat, but there were technical challenges that stopped this from being a reality. We've of course had octopus-like monsters before, but they have been confined to their special arena. They've never been just like an actual monster that you can kind of put anywhere. So due to those technical challenges, it has stopped this from becoming a reality until Monster Hunter Wilds, where they were finally able to realize this design with New Udra, which is a slimy octopus-inspired monster who secretes flammable oil and wriggles all around the Oilwell Basin in every direction. When creating New Udra, they were, of course, inspired by an octopus, but they wanted his silhouette to be very striking. So they added demonic-looking horns and designed him in a way where you can't really tell where his face is or which way he's looking. Fear not, though, New Udra does have these sensory organs on the palm of his tentacles. I guess you would say it is his palm of the tentacles. They're kind of this blue, glowy-looking part of the tentacle. So you will be able to see who he's targeting and where his attack is about to go. You're just not going to be able to look at his face and which way he's turning to be able to tell that information like a traditional monster. All of his individual tentacles will be attacking you. I think this is such a cool design where he doesn't ever have to move towards you to target you, because all of his individual tentacles are doing attacks just on their own. which is really cool. This, of course, does mean that flash pods do not work on him, so don't try and use those. Now, due to New Udra being able to move all of his tentacles independent of each other, it also means that we can sever all of the tentacles that touch the ground, which I believe is 6 different tentacles, which is crazy. And when you sever them, they do continue to wriggle on the floor. And in the dev interview, they did mention that when they stop wriggling, that's when you can no longer get materials from them, because it's very important to have fresh meat. Now, the reason why New Udra is a fire monster is because he's very obviously based on an octopus, which we would all assume means he would be weak to fire and gives us a good idea of how to fight him already. So they flipped it around and made him a fire-based monster, which honestly fits perfectly with creating him to be this demonic, imposing octopus. I think his design is it's just incredible. And oh my god, his audio design is right there alongside how incredible Ray Dow sounds. Like, just listen to these alien-like noises New Udra makes. A really small detail that I love about him is that you can see his wounds are actually blue instead of the usual red when looking at them without focus mode, because the fireflies always highlight red. But I love that he has this extra thing that's special about him where his wounds are blue, and it makes sense because he's not just like the regular monster. And I freaking love that he can fit into these small cracks around the Oilwell Basin just like an actual octopus. I just thought this visual of him going into a wall was so cool because it really makes you feel like he could be in the walls all around you at any time. His nest also has him balled up into a little hole, which is very, very cute. So what do you think about our new Udra, a brand new skeleton for a new class of monster? And I think his implementation is something that's just really, really, really impressive. The more I look at him, the more I'm blown away by his design. Finally, let's talk about the creation of the Oilwell Basin itself. This is an area that when we first saw it, I honestly wasn't super excited about it. It looked fairly lifeless and gray, except for when the fire spring happens, but even then I wasn't super excited about it. But after seeing more of it, I think the Oilwell Basin is an incredibly designed area and has some extremely interesting ideas that you wouldn't really expect from an oil and fire area. The Oilwell Basin has been created to be a very vertically designed space, so during the design of the Oilwell Basin, the devs were very conscious of how the different levels will look, with villages being at the very top. In the higher levels, there's also these oil-like swamps, whereas things get more and more magma-filled as you make your way deeper into the Oilwell Basin. Towards the center or bottom of these levels, you start to see ecosystems that look like an underwater volcano. The artists on the Monster Hunter team drew from their experience of World's Coral Highlands when creating the creatures and visuals that would live in this underwater volcano area. You can see during the plenty period of the Oilwell Basin, this area gets very blue and gives off a seabed-like feeling with creatures similar to shrimp and crabs, as well as our beloved salamander-like monster, the Geladron. And honestly, I freaking love it. This place just seems so fun to explore as you start on the top with all of the village people there, and you get to see what they're eating. And I guess you get to see how deep they go into the Oilwell Basin to get that food. If they have sea-like creatures that they're eating, please don't eat the Geladron. Leave him alone. He's cute. Anyway, but exploring starting in the villages, and you got swamps, and then you go deeper and there's volcanoes and fire, and then there's ocean type of deep sea vibes. I cannot wait to explore this and come into contact with Rompopolo and then a goddamn fire demon octopus. This was incredible. It blew my expectations away from the design of the Oilwell Basin new Udra, all of the little tidbits of information we got from the support hunters was also really cool. Man, I freaking loved this video, these selection of videos, I guess you could say. That is going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will, of course, be covering all of the Monster Hunter stuff. And next week, we're going to be playing the beta. So we'll be streaming that on YouTube and Twitch. And, of course, putting out any content that we feel necessary during the beta. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.